along on a captivating journey. China is a country with a long history when reading and writing is not just a tool for communication, but also its doors leading in rich cultural paths through the pages of Chinese literature as we dive into its legacy, diversity, and history. China, officially known as People's Republic of China or PRC. It is known as most populous country and the third largest in land area. China is the most populous country globally, with over 1.4 billion people. The Han Chinese make up the majority of ethnic groups, but there are also significant ethnic minorities, including the Uyghurs, Tibetans, Mongols, and others. China has a long and rich cultural history that dates back thousands of years. China has one of the world's oldest civilizations. Ancient dynasties such as Qin, Han, Tang, and Ming contribute to the country's rich cultural heritage. The last imperial dynasty, the Qin, fell in 1912, leading to the establishment of the Republic of China. China's way of life has been greatly impacted by traditional Chinese philosophy, art, literature, and classical traditions, including Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. Now, let's explore and gain insight about their literature. What is Chinese literature? It is a collection of written or literary works, mostly in Chinese language, created by authors of Chinese ancestry, is referred to as Chinese literature. It is a vast and illustrious literary legacy that dates back thousands of years and captures China's philosophical, historical, and cultural advancement. Poetry, prose, fiction, drama, essays, and other forms of among the many genres, styles, and forms that make up Chinese literature.
Chinese literature encompasses various genres such as poetry, prose, drama, and fiction. Some notable literary works in Chinese literature include the 300 Tang Poems by famous poet Li Bai and Du Fu, A Dream of Red Mansion by Xiao Shuqin, The Peony Pavilion by Tang Shanzhu, and The Journey to the West by Wu Shengyan. The three works showcase the depth and complexity of Chinese literature, which reflect the country's rich cultural heritage. Chinese literature has produced notable poets like Li Bai, Du Fu, and Wang Wei. Throughout history, Li Bai, also known as Li Po, is recognized for his connection to nature and faith in imagination. His famous works, such as Quiet Night Thought and The River Merchant's Wife, a Letter. Du Fu explored themes of politics, history, and social justice in his poetry with Parting at the River Ford and Song of Shu, being some of his famous works. Wang Wei, a poet, painter, and calligrapher during the Tang Dynasty, reflected his interest in Buddhist philosophy and belief in simplicity and tranquility in his poetry with Quiet Night Thought and The Moon Over a Fountain being some of his most famous works. These poets have contributed to the richness and complexity of Chinese poetry, shaped by traditional Chinese culture and philosophy, and their works continue to be celebrated and studied in the China today. Li Bai, a renowned Chinese poet during the Tang Dynasty, is an exemplary figure in Chinese literature that showcases the philosophical understanding of Chinese literature. Li Bai's poetry is deeply influenced by Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism, and he often explored themes related to nature, spirituality, and the human condition. In his poem, Quiet Night Thought, Li Bai delves into the concept of stillness and quietness, which is central to Taoism. The repetition of praise still highlights the significance of finding inner peace and tranquility, while the use of nature as a backdrop underscores the connection between the human condition and the natural world. Li poetry is a reflection of the philosophical tradition that have shaped Chinese literature for centuries, demonstrating the interplay between philosophy and literature in Chinese culture.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through Chinese literature. We have explored a rich and diverse literary tradition that spans thousands of years, and it is clear that Chinese literature has had a profound influence on both Eastern and Western culture. Throughout this documentary, we have delved into some of the most significant and celebrated works of Chinese literature, from the poetic verses of Li Bai and Du Fu to the epic storytelling of Journey to the West and Dream of the Red Chamber. These works have captivated readers for centuries and continue to resonate with audiences today. The influence of Chinese literature extends far beyond its borders, through translations and adaptations. These literary works have reached audiences around the world, sparking interest and admiration for Chinese culture and history. They have inspired countless writers, artists, and thinkers, shaping the literary landscape of not only China but also the global literary canon. But beyond its influence, Chinese literature holds a deep importance within its own cultural context. It serves as a mirror reflecting the values, beliefs, and experiences of the Chinese people throughout history. From the philosophical musings of Confucius and Laozi to the social critiques of Lucian, Chinese literature has played a vital role in shaping and preserving the cultural identity of the nation. As we conclude this documentary, we invite you to continue exploring the rich tapestry of Chinese literature. Its beauty, complexity, and depth are boundless, offering endless opportunities for discovery and enlightenment. Whether you are a student of literature, a lover of stories, or simply curious about the world, Chinese literature has something to offer everyone. Thank you once again for joining us on this exploration of Chinese literature.